everybody, welcome to another episode of the Caregiver and Spoonie podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Banderas. And just a real quick reminder, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes of the podcast. And thank you for all the emails and support that I've been receiving. I appreciate it. Thank you for all the new followers, the new listeners. Thank you for joining this movement. Together we can make this grow and help people, help yourself, help myself. So together we can help each other. So let's get to today's episode. On today's episode, I wanted to talk about finding your gift. Now, you might say, like, Jordan, I'm a Spoonie, I'm a caregiver. This is what's going on my life. How can I find a gift? I don't even know if I have a gift. Well, that's exactly how I felt. Now, in order for you to find your gift, you have to dig deep. Because everybody's born with a gift. And this is not a lie. You have a gift. But what happens is that growing up, somebody must have said, or somebody could have said something to you that made you feel bad about that. Like, for example, for me, I'm a talker. I talk a lot. And I like to learn new things. So growing up, I will talk a lot in school. I have the proof. I have my report cards that literally say, you talk too much. To all 6 years of elementary, literally. All of them say something. Each quarter or each month they will put like, you talk too much, you talk too much. So I'm a talker, but I'm very curious as well. And I had to dig deep, like I said, like, I'm very curious. And growing up, what happens is that depending on your environment, if you're curious, let's say in my situation it's about history, how people were able to think about like the things that were built, like the pyramids, things like that. Like I'm not obsessed, but I'm curious about how our mind works, literally. Almost like human psychology. Like where do ideas come from? How do we design like this pyramid that we can't even replicate right now, and we were able to build it like thousands of years ago, something like that. Like I'm curious about like how humanity has become what it has become. I like to learn things like that. But growing up, the only people that I had to ask, it was my uncle and my mom and my brother. My brother didn't know. My mom didn't know. My uncle didn't know. And a lot of the times what will happen is that they will say like, oh, I don't know, you ask too many questions, shut up. Or why are you asking those questions? I'm pretty sure you've been told that. I was told that. I remember asking, I don't remember if it was my mom or my uncle. I asked something about like history and they're like, I don't know. And I was like, kind of like trying to get more information because I am that curious. And they're like, you ask too many questions. You ask too many questions. Like, I don't know. So in my head, I'm like, okay, nobody knows the answer. And then as I grew older, I keep asking more and more questions. And then people were like, you ask too many questions. And then you have the situation where somebody might say like, you're too dumb. That's why you ask too many questions, because you don't understand anything. And now that I remember, my brother actually said that to me. My brother is older than me. My brother is 7 years older. So as a kid, I'm going to see my brother as kind of like somebody to follow. So my brother told me like, oh, you're too dumb. You'll never understand that. My mom reinforced that. My uncle reinforced that. So I was like, okay, I'm too dumb. So I put my gift away. And when I moved to the States, what happened is that obviously I had to learn the language, but because in my mind I was too dumb, I was like, what's the point of learning a new language? I'm too dumb. So I couldn't really talk about this. Like I couldn't really express myself. And digging deep through all of this, through all this journey, I realized that I'm very curious about, like I said, the human mind, how it works, how we can control our body, all of that stuff, pretty much psychology. And also, I like to talk and help people, like give advice. Growing up as well, throughout I will say junior high and high school, I will give good advice to my friends because they will always look up for me or look up to me and say like, hey Jordan, I need advice with this, and I will give them advice. But the only problem that I had at that point is that I wasn't following my advice because I didn't think I was saying the right thing, because I was told I was dumb. I was misinformed about myself. So now I'm expanding my vocabulary. I'm finding my gift, which is talking, expressing myself through talk, and learning more so I can provide that information for you guys because of my story. And I know that a lot of you guys are going to something similar, or you might know somebody that's going to something similar. So that's how I was able to find my gift, which is talking, learning things about psychology, or learning about anything because I'm that curious. So in your situation, your gift might be, you might be interested in, let's say, drawing. But somebody in the past said, oh, your drawing sucks, because they don't understand your perception, the way that you see your perception. And the thing is that another thing about your gift is that your gift, there might be so many people that have the same gift, like drawing, let's say. Everybody has a different style. It's not going to be the same style every time. Everybody has a different style, but your style might be more dark than the other person that does it. So more people are going to like the other person. More people are going to like yours. Less people are going to like yours. Less people are going to like the other. So we compare our gifts to others, which is something that we need to do. Well, I mean, not do, sorry. That's something that we need to stop, because when you express yourself, it could be drawing, it could be music, it could be cooking, it could be baking, it could be talking, it could be makeup, it could be whatever you want to be, or wherever you feel this attraction to. You're giving your point of view towards that gift that you have. Like I said, it could be drawing, it could be even video gaming now. Like you might have a different style. It could be sports. That's why there are some athletes that are like the best, because they're like, this is my gift and I'm going to improve it. And once you find your gift, you need to work on it to improve it. Like I know somebody that it's a great cook. The person can cook. And they can cook anything. They just need to read the instructions, but then they make it their own. They make it their own, and that's their gift, because they're making it their own. They're not like anybody else's. It's like I was telling my wife the other day. We had a conversation about her gift and my gift. She's still trying to find her gift. Me, I already know what my gift is, which is learning. Which is learning in this case about the human mind, expressing myself about how psychology works. Even though I'm not a psychologist, I'm giving my point of view. That's the thing. I'm giving my point of view, my opinion from my perception. It's like, this is how I see it, and that's how you can become very impartial. That's how you become very impartial, because it's like, I understand your point of view. I understand that your gift might be the same as mine, but I have a different story behind my gift. My story is completely different than yours. Same goes to you. If you decide to draw, you might be drawing happy things because you had a happy life. You might be drawing not so happy things because you didn't have a happy life. You might be singing about drugs because you grew up around drugs. You might be singing about horses because you grew up around horses. So with your gift, you're giving your perception of how you grew up or what you're seeing. And that's why it's, in order for you to become the person that you're supposed to become, you have to find your gift. And that is up to you. Nobody's going to help you find that gift. That's the problem with this. Nobody's going to help you find that gift. It's completely up to you. It's completely up to you. It could be anything. Like if you feel not attracted, but if you feel more almost like pushed towards, let's say, drawing, or taking photographs, and you know that you're good, don't listen to anybody else. Because they're going to give you their opinion even you want it or not. Think about how you can make that better. If somebody tells you, oh, your pictures suck because of this, or they just say because they suck because or they just simply say they suck, then they're not giving you any feedback. They're just spewing BS, literally. They're just telling you BS because in order for you to grow, you have to take feedback. In order for you to grow your gift, you have to take feedback. So if nobody's giving you any type of good feedback, how are you supposed to learn what you need to improve? So, like I said, I did this through a meditation. I was able to find my gift through a meditation. You can do it on your own. You can do it through meditation. You can just say like, what am I interested on? Or when I was a kid, what was I interested on? And you might find that it could be drawing, it could be nature, it could be something, it could be hiking, it could be climbing, it could be anything. Your gift is anything. And the problem, the biggest problem that I see from my perspective is that, for example, drawing, everything gets put into a category. And let's say, I give you my example. Like, I like talking. I like all of these things. I like helping people. But then I'm in a category where there's like so many people doing the same thing. Like, I like doing this podcast. Well, there's so many podcasts, but at the same time, I'm like, well, I'm doing the podcast from my perspective, from my perception, from my story, so I can help other people, because other people might relate to my story more than another person doing the same type of podcast. So it doesn't matter what your gift is. What matters is that you find it and you can use that for your own good, to become who are you supposed to become. I was listening to this earlier today, and that's why I wanted to do this episode. Van Gogh, like the painter, he was told his paintings were bad, that he wasn't gonna be good enough, that he wasn't good enough, but he just kept doing it because that was his gift. That's the way that he was able to express himself. And then what happened when he died? All of his paintings are worth millions. Like that, the same thing happened to Einstein. Everybody tried to bring him down, and now that he's gone, scientists keep finding things about his theories that he was right. So it's like he didn't stop. He didn't let the haters bring him down. The same thing that you have to do with your gift. The same thing that I'm doing with mine. I have mentioned before, I got trolled. And I don't care. I didn't really care because I'm like, this is my gift. I'm telling you my story so you can see where I'm coming from and what I'm trying to do. So, and finding your gift is about expressing yourself. It helps you express yourself through cooking, drawing, whatever it is. Like I said, it could be even wrestling, it could be whatever. And it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. Or whatever you identify as, it doesn't matter, because you're expressing yourself. You're letting your tiger get out of the cage. As long as you can express yourself, then do it. And one of the best things that I have noticed, at least with me in regards to my gift, is that it gives you this sense of fulfillment. It gives you this opportunity to grow, to learn more about the gift. Because, like, for example, with making cakes, I love how people make cakes. Like, they can make it like very simple or like very like detailed. I can make a cake. I'm not good at making cakes. I know that. I will burn it. I have burned pizza, so I know I will burn the cake. But there's people that have this like gift, literally, like this talent. But they were not just born with that talent. They realized at one point that that was what they wanted to do. That's how they wanted to express themselves. So they worked on it to become like the chef, the cook, the drawer, the painter, whatever that they are right now, because they knew what their gift was, and that gave them purpose and fulfillment. One of the things that I keep hearing from other people is like, when life will whisper in your ear what life wants you to do. Like in my case, it was the podcast. Like I kept hearing it in my head, but I wasn't paying attention. That's the thing. At one point you might have that little noise in your head saying like, oh, you have to do this, you have to do this. If you don't listen, it's gonna yell. It's gonna yell at you. Like I said, this is pretty much what happened to me in regards to doing this. I kept hearing about it in my head, and I'm like, no, I'm not good enough. There's too many people doing the same thing. And it just kept coming in my head, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try it. But in the meantime, life will yell at you. It's like, hey, you have to do this. Do it. And if you don't listen, it's just going to slap you. I know people that have said it, like, it's like, oh, this has been my gift all the time. And life was trying to tell me, but I never listened until I felt like this big slap in my head, in my face, and I was like, maybe I should try it. It's almost like the same thing that happened to me. Like I wasn't going to do the podcast, but I kept hearing it in my head. It's like, no, do the podcast. I'm like, I don't know how to talk. Well, guess what? You're gonna learn in the process. You're gonna learn during the process. In order for you to become better, you have to start at one point. And that's how you find your gift. You have to go deep. If for example you're a writer, you know that you can write, but you're not good at it. Start. Do what if you're cooking, if you're drawing, if you want to be a photographer, if you want to be a model, if you want to do anything, just start. That's how you find your gift. Just also start. I did through meditation. You can just do it by asking yourself, what am I interested on? What's my passion? What brings me joy when I do it? That's the question that I'm leaving you with. Answer that question on your own. It might take time. It's not going to be an easy question to find, because like I said, you have to dig your gift out of all this dirt that has been accumulated throughout the years. Because somebody might have said something that made you feel bad, somebody made you feel ashamed about it or anything, but the gift is there. You're going to be able to find it at one point, and then you're going to be able to say to yourself like, wow, this is my passion. And like I said, just start. Don't wait until you get better. I started doing the podcast and doing all of these things without even knowing if it was going to work out. But I have tried in every episode to get better. And you can compare the first episode to this episode, and you will see that I talk better. Why? Because I ask myself the question is like, how can I get better? Once you find your gift, ask yourself every day that question: how can I get better by doing this? Or when I do this. So that's today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you like it. If you know somebody that might be going through some hard times, especially because of the pandemic or anything, they lost their job, they feel lost, let them know that they're not alone, and there's something within them that they have to dig out so they can find their true passion. And thank you for listening. Thank you for everything. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, comment. And also, if you know somebody that needs some help as well, especially in during these times, don't forget to share the podcast, because they might actually like it. They might feel good. They might feel bad. But that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to help people. So, with that said, thank you for everything. And I'll leave you with this. Always take care of yourself.